As the Trump administration's crackdown on illegal immigration continues, certain cases are raising concerns. The White House maintains that the priority is targeting violent criminals. However, some who are here seeking asylum due to religious reasons are also being detained. The latest case involves Maryland pastor Daniel Fuentes Espinal from Honduras. While he's accused of overstaying his visa by 25 years, many in Easton call him a law-abiding member of the community who deserves fair treatment and the opportunity to remain free. News footage shows residents and supporters taking to the streets to protest the arrest of the 54-year-old pastor. ICE agents detained Fuentes Espinal, pastor at Jesus de Ama Iglesia del Nazareno Church, July 21st. On his way to work at a construction site. The pastor has reportedly lived in the U.S. since 2001 on a 6-month visa. After his arrest, he was transferred from Baltimore to an immigration facility in Louisiana. Family friend Lynn Foxwell says Fuentes Espinal told him about conditions he had to endure at the Baltimore facility.
He didn't have a bed to sleep on. He didn't have a shower, didn't have a sink for brushing his teeth. Charlene, he literally had to use a bucket, and I don't mean to be graphic for your viewers, but he had to use a bucket for bodily functions.
Pastor Fuentes Espinal's church members are no longer meeting out of fear the same will happen to them. Pastor Samuel Rodriguez, president of the National Hispanic Christian Leadership Conference, says ICE arrests are severely impacting churches within his network.
35–40% drop in Sunday attendance. Put this in perspective, close to half of the Latino evangelical church, 40% aiming towards 50. This is serious.
Pastor Gabriel Salguero, founder of the National Latino Evangelical Coalition.
It's really heartbreaking. I receive, without hyperbole, dozens of texts a day from the pastors in our coalition. Daily, I'm receiving texts either from bishops or pastors of members of their churches or pastors in their networks that are being detained and deported.
Pain also felt among Iranian Christians seeking asylum in the U.S. due to religious persecution back home.
He's asylum seeker.
It doesn't matter, sir. We're just following orders.
Last month, Pastor Ara Tarosian of Cornerstone Church in West L.A. witnessed federal agents detaining Iranian-born members of his congregation.
They came for freedom. And for me, it was shocking to see this scene, that this woman on the floor, and it was just heartbreaking for me as a pastor.
To protest this targeting of asylum seekers and advocate for their release, Tarosian recently went on a hunger strike outside the White House. Since then, another family from his church in ICE custody has been released.
Our church was on the tiers. The mom and dad has ankle monitoring, but at least I'm happy that they are in their home. We rejoice. And also I send this message to different lawmakers, President Trump, ICE and DHS, and many others that really help to this.
Meanwhile, Salguero says of the arrest of Pastor Fuentes Espinal, this is exactly the kind of indiscriminate immigration enforcement that is not in keeping with the vow the administration and its allies made to target violent criminals. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt responding to CBN News' question on the issue.
The administration has always maintained the position that anyone who illegally crosses our nation's borders is subject to deportation. That's just the law of the land, and we must be a nation that enforces our laws. But the priority from ICE, of course, is to deport, detain, arrest, and remove violent illegal aliens and criminals from our country.
Rodriguez says the president wants to do what is right and fair for the vast majority of migrants.
I believe President Trump really has a commitment to seeing a solution. However, there may be elements in the administration who are, for whatever reason in the world, not necessarily implementing what President Trump desires as it pertains to exclusively going after the criminal element.
Thank you, Charlene. I was fascinating. Pastor Samuel Rodriguez, who we have interviewed many times on this show for various projects he's got going on, how he said About 40%, nearly half of evangelical Latino worshipers have stopped going to church.
They're afraid to attend in-person services because of ICE raids, the potential of ICE raids. And it's really heartbreaking because, first of all, we want to applaud what ICE is doing in getting the criminal element off the streets of America. We thank God for that. But there are these cases that are falling through the cracks, like this pastor, Espinal Fuentes. It's Fuentes Espinal because he has been doing everything right. He has been going to the immigration hearings. He's been paying a lot of money. And the fact that he's still detained, and not only him, but so many others who are being detained at their hearings. We're not hearing about this. They're being detained. They're trying to do everything by the book, according to what they're supposed to be doing, and they yet still get detained. And it's just heartbreaking to see what's happening. And
you brought to light a whole other portion of this, which is those seeking religious asylum.
And that's,
a whole really other component that you got into near the end of your feature.
I can't imagine fleeing, you know, a horrible regime to come to America because you're being persecuted back home, and then you're detained because you don't have everything in order yet, but you're still going to the hearings, but you're here because you want freedom, and your faith is very important to you. So I think the White House really needs to look at and see how they can help with these cases.
Yeah, and it seems like they're beginning to.
Absolutely.